Your body has been carrying tension without permission to stop, and you can feel that weight before you even name it. There is no demand here to recover or push through that heaviness. Let the next exhale lengthen on its own, slower than the inhale, without effort. Notice that something has not fully settled yet, and you do not need to fix it immediately. That unfinished settling will resolve on its own as the body shifts. Begin by letting attention drop into the face, noticing the jaw first. See if the teeth are touching or hovering close together. Allow a small release there, just enough for the jaw to hang heavier. As the jaw releases, the throat does not need to hold itself up. Swallowing is not required. The throat can remain wide and unprepared. Now notice the muscles around the eyes. The effort to stay alert often collects there. Let that effort drop, as if the eyes no longer need to scan. With that release, the breath adjusts automatically. Inhale arrives without urgency. Exhale extends a little longer, easing pressure through the chest. That longer exhale sends a clear signal downward. Internal pressure begins to lower. The system receives the message that nothing needs immediate action. Shift attention to the shoulders now. Notice if they are lifting or holding forward. Let their weight drop straight down, supported by the body underneath. As the shoulders drop, the upper chest does not need to brace. Breathing space increases without effort. Exhale remains slow and steady. There may still be a sense of urgency somewhere. That is normal. Urgency loses strength when the body stops preparing. Bring attention to the center of the chest, not forcing relaxation, just noticing temperature, pressure, or movement as it is. As awareness stays there, muscle guarding begins to loosen. Heart rhythm adapts naturally. Adaptation is what stabilizes this state. Allow the breath to continue regulating itself. Inhale steady and unforced. Exhale slightly longer, easing downward through the torso. Now move attention slowly into the upper back. This area often holds readiness and quiet tension. Let the muscles there soften, supported by gravity. As the upper back releases, the nervous system reduces alert signaling. Signals become quieter and more predictable. Predictability is what calms internal monitoring. Notice how thinking responds when the body softens. Thoughts lose their need to organize and begin to drift without direction. They remain present without urgency. Bring attention to the belly now. There is no need to control movement here. Let the belly remain neutral and supported. As the belly settles, the exhale naturally deepens. That deeper exhale stimulates settling pathways. Pressure continues to drain from the system. Notice the lower ribs expanding gently on inhale. No effort required. Exhale stays longer, signaling safety without sedation. Now shift attention into the hips. This area often holds residual bracing. Allow the weight of the torso to rest there fully. With that weight supported, the nervous system stops scanning for collapse. Stability registers internally. Scanning slows. Move awareness down through the thighs. Notice any tightness or readiness. Let the muscles lengthen and settle. Breath continues in a regulated pattern. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains smooth and extended. As the legs soften, overall muscle tone decreases. Lower tone reduces background stress signals. The body remains alert but no longer pressured. Bring attention to the feet. Notice contact and support. There is nothing they need to prepare for. From feet to head, the body is now more evenly regulated. Nothing is collapsing. Nothing is being forced. If thoughts attempt to speed up again, notice how the body stays settled. Settled posture limits urgency from taking hold. Thoughts lose momentum on their own. Another breath cycle completes. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, maintaining regulation. This is a familiar state your system can return to whenever this voice appears. Is less than #0. 5# is greater than. It holds itself when the body is supported. Clarity remains intact. You can remain here, knowing this guidance will always meet you in the same steady way. Nothing else needs to be added right now. The next layer will settle naturally as we continue. Notice how the body has not slipped into stillness that feels heavy or dull. It remains awake, responsive, and grounded. That balance is already being felt in the body right now. Allow attention to return briefly to the breath. Inhale enters without being pulled. Exhale leaves a little slower, easing internal pressure further. This slower exhale continues signaling safety through the vagal pathways. Safety signals reduce the need for internal monitoring. Monitoring is what feeds urgency. Bring awareness back to the jaw again. Notice if any holding has quietly returned. If so, allow it to drop without effort. As the jaw releases, the neck does not need to brace. Muscles along the sides of the neck soften. Blood flow becomes more even. That even flow supports clearer thinking. Clarity does not require tension. Tension only creates false urgency. Shift attention to the space behind the eyes. Notice whether awareness feels narrow or wide. Allow it to widen slightly, without scanning. Wider awareness reduces threat focus. Reduced threat focus lowers adrenaline output. Is less than #0, 7# is greater than. Heart rhythm remains adaptable. Take note of the chest again, not searching for tightness, simply noticing movement with each breath. Inhale lifts gently. Exhale settles downward, steady and controlled. That downward settling continues calming internal pressure sensors. Pressure stays within a comfortable range. Nothing escalates suddenly. Allow attention to move into the upper arms. Notice their weight being supported. No readiness is required there. As the arms relax, signals of action demand decrease. The system understands that action can wait. Waiting no longer feels dangerous. Return to the breath again. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains longer, smoothing internal rhythm. This rhythm continues embedding itself without effort. Load no longer translates into alarm. Alarm is what drives racing thought. Notice how thoughts now appear with more space around them. They may still arise. They no longer demand immediate response. Bring awareness to the lower back. This area often holds subtle guarding. Allow it to soften and widen. As it softens, the pelvis feels more supported. Support reduces unconscious bracing. Bracing is no longer needed. Breath continues to regulate without instruction. Inhale steady. Exhale extended, calm, and reliable. Notice how the legs feel heavier and more grounded, not sluggish, simply supported. That support feeds upward into the torso. The whole system feels more coherent. Coherence improves heart rate variability naturally. If a wave of urgency attempts to rise, notice how quickly it loses strength. There is no body tension to support it. Without support, urgency fades. Return attention briefly to the throat. No swallowing required. The throat remains open and unprepared. This openness allows easier airflow. Easier airflow reinforces calm signaling. Calm remains active, not sedating. Another breath cycle completes itself. Inhale smooth. Exhale long and even. Notice how the body now expects stability rather than threat. Expectation shapes nervous response. This expectation is now neutral and safe. Remain here as this familiar regulation continues on its own. Nothing is drifting. This clarity remains available whenever you return to this guidance. Notice how the system is holding this regulated state without effort. There is no requirement to keep checking it. Stability remains present on its own. Bring attention gently back to the breath. Inhale arrives evenly, without anticipation. Exhale stays longer, maintaining internal balance. That longer exhale continues engaging calming pathways. Heart rhythm stays flexible and responsive. Flexibility prevents sudden spikes. Shift awareness into the sides of the rib cage. Notice subtle movement there. Allow expansion without effort. As the ribs move freely, breathing efficiency improves. Efficient breathing reduces background strain. Strain is no longer feeding urgency. Bring attention back to the shoulders once more. Check whether they are lifting slightly. Let them settle downward again. With the shoulders settled, the neck remains supported. Support prevents alert signals from rising. Alertness stays calm and available. Notice the upper chest now. Movement remains smooth and predictable. No sharp changes appear. Predictable movement reassures the nervous system. Reassurance reduces the need to monitor. Monitoring continues to quiet. Allow attention to move slowly into the belly again. Notice that it remains neutral and supported. There is no pulling or holding. As the belly stays relaxed, internal pressure equalizes. Equal pressure stabilizes breathing rhythm. Rhythm remains steady. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale enters with ease. Exhale extends, reinforcing regulation. This repetition is intentional. Predictable cycles build nervous system confidence. Confidence reduces urgency signals. Notice how thoughts now arrive more slowly. They appear without pressure. They remain optional. Bring awareness to the lower back again. Check for any subtle tightening. Allow that area to widen and soften. As it softens, posture becomes more balanced. Balance reduces compensatory tension elsewhere. The system remains efficient. Move attention into the hips. Notice their contact and support. Let weight remain fully carried there. With weight supported, the legs stay grounded. Grounding limits upward surge. Surge is no longer forming. Return to the breath once more. Inhale steady and quiet. Exhale longer, smooth, unchanged. Notice how the body now expects this rhythm. Expectation stabilizes response. Stability remains reliable. If attention drifts outward briefly, regulation does not collapse. It holds without supervision. This is the state becoming familiar. Remain here as the system continues regulating automatically. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be removed. Notice how this regulated state remains present even without attention on it. The system no longer needs to be checked. Stability has become the default response. Bring attention gently back to the breath. Inhale arrives evenly and unforced. Exhale remains longer, smoothing internal rhythm. That longer exhale continues to reduce internal pressure. Pressure staying low prevents urgency from rebuilding. Rebuilding no longer occurs automatically. Shift awareness to the face again. Notice the forehead. Let it remain smooth without lifting. A smooth forehead signals reduced threat detection. Reduced detection lowers background alert signals. Alertness stays calm and available. Allow attention to move down the sides of the face. Cheeks remain heavy and supported. Jaw stays loose without effort. As the jaw remains released, the nervous system stays unguarded. Guarding is what reactivates urgency. Urgency remains inactive. Bring awareness back into the neck. Notice the muscles along the back of it. Allow them to soften and lengthen. With the neck supported, head position feels balanced. Balance reduces subtle strain. Strain no longer feeds internal pressure. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady and quiet. Exhale longer, easing downward through the chest. That downward easing continues engaging calming reflexes. Heart rhythm stays adaptive. Adaptation prevents sudden changes. Shift attention to the upper chest again. Notice how movement remains smooth. No tight edges appear. Smooth movement reassures the system. Reassurance reduces the need to anticipate. Anticipation quiets. Allow awareness to move into the upper back. This area now feels broader and softer. Let it remain supported. As support remains, posture stays efficient. Efficiency reduces effort. Reduced effort sustains regulation. Bring attention back to the breath again. Inhale enters with ease. Exhale extends, maintaining calm signaling. This repetition continues reinforcing itself. Reliability is what the nervous system trusts. Trust removes pressure to control. Notice how thoughts now arise and pass with less friction. They are present but not gripping. Grip dissolves when the body stays settled. Shift awareness to the belly again. Notice that it remains neutral. There is no pulling inward or outward. Neutral tone supports stable breathing mechanics. Stable mechanics allow breathing to feel more comfortable and unforced. Comfort prevents breath urgency. Return to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Allow attention to move into the hips. Notice how weight is carried there. Let that support remain constant. Consistent support reduces compensatory tension in the legs. Legs stay grounded and responsive. Grounding limits upward stress signals. Bring awareness to the thighs and knees. Notice their contact and position. No adjustment is required. As the lower body stays settled, the upper body remains calm. The system functions as one unit. Coherence continues. Return again to the breath. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and smooth. This rhythm now feels familiar rather than deliberate. Familiarity reduces monitoring. Monitoring no longer drives urgency. If attention briefly shifts outward, notice that regulation remains. Nothing collapses. The system holds its ground. Remain here as this grounded state continues stabilizing. Clarity stays present. The next phase will unfold easily while this guidance remains with you. Notice how this state no longer feels like something you are doing. It is simply how the system is operating right now. Effort has dropped away without loss of clarity. Bring attention back to the breath briefly. Inhale arrives steady and quiet. Exhale remains longer, smooth, regulating. That longer exhale continues, reinforcing a settled, steady response. Reinforced steadiness keeps internal pressure signals low. Low pressure prevents urgency from reforming. Notice the face again. There is no need to adjust anything. Muscles remain neutral and unguarded. An unguarded face signals safety throughout the system. Safety reduces background threat detection. Detection stays inactive. Shift awareness into the neck and shoulders together. Notice how they move as one supported structure. No isolated holding appears. When structures move together, strain decreases. Reduced strain improves internal feedback. Feedback stays calm and predictable. Return attention to the chest. Breath movement remains even and contained. There are no sharp edges or catches. Even movement reassures the system at a deep level. Reassurance stabilizes heart rhythm further. Stability remains adaptive, not rigid. Allow awareness to rest in the upper back. This area continues to feel broad and supported. Support prevents subtle bracing. Without bracing, the system stops preparing for impact. Preparation is what feeds internal urgency. Urgency remains absent. Bring attention again to the breath. Inhale enters naturally. Exhale leaves longer, maintaining balance. This breathing pattern now happens without instruction. Automatic regulation conserves energy. Conserved energy reduces mental noise. Notice how thoughts continue to slow without becoming dull. They arrive as information only. They do not carry pressure. Pressure requires bodily tension. That tension is no longer present. So pressure cannot build. Shift awareness to the belly again. It remains neutral and responsive. No holding appears there. Neutral tone supports efficient, comfortable movement. Comfortable movement stabilizes internal balance. Balance remains consistent. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how the lower back and hips remain settled together. Weight is distributed evenly. No area is compensating. Even distribution reduces fatigue signals. Reduced fatigue lowers stress output. The system feels capable without effort. Bring awareness down into the legs. They feel grounded and responsive, not heavy. Grounded legs support upright presence. Presence remains clear and alert. There is no drift toward sleep. Return again to the breath. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. This rhythm now remains in the background as the default. You do not need to follow it closely. It continues on its own. If a thought about the future tries to form, notice how it lacks urgency. There is no bodily signal supporting it, so it dissolves quickly. Remain here as this stable baseline continues. Nothing is being suppressed. Nothing is being forced. Clarity stays intact as calm holds steady. The system is ready without being tense. This is the state that returns whenever you come back to this guidance. Notice how this baseline holds even as attention shifts slightly. There is no drop in stability. The system maintains regulation without supervision. Bring attention back to the breath again. Inhale arrives quietly and evenly. Exhale remains longer, continuing to regulate internal rhythm. That longer exhale sustains a calm, steady signal through the body. Sustained steadiness keeps threat circuits inactive. Inactivity there preserves calm clarity. Notice the face once more. There is no tightening returning. Expression remains neutral and relaxed. A neutral face prevents reflexive alert responses. Without those responses, urgency cannot rebuild. The system stays settled. Shift awareness into the neck and upper spine. Notice how the head feels balanced. No forward pull appears. Balanced alignment reduces muscular compensation. Reduced compensation lowers background effort. Effort stays minimal. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, smooth, unchanged. This repetition keeps internal timing consistent. Consistency reinforces safety signaling. Safety remains active without sedation. Allow awareness to move into the chest again. Movement remains smooth and contained. There is no tight boundary. Without a tight boundary, pressure equalizes easily. Equalized pressure stabilizes heart rhythm further. Stability continues to feel natural. Shift attention into the upper back. Notice the broad support across it. No bracing returns. Without bracing, the system does not anticipate impact. Anticipation is what drives sudden spikes. Spikes remain absent. Bring attention back to the breath. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. Notice how thoughts now come and go without speed. They remain clear and functional. They do not loop. Looping requires urgency. Urgency has no support in the body now. so looping does not form. Shift awareness into the belly again. It stays neutral and responsive. No gripping appears. Neutral tone allows the diaphragm to move freely. Free movement keeps breathing comfortable and balanced. Balance sustains calm chemistry. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how the lower back and hips remain evenly supported. Weight distribution stays balanced. No area is overworking. Balanced support reduces fatigue signals further. Reduced fatigue prevents stress rebound. The system remains resilient. Bring awareness into the legs again. They remain grounded and ready, not tense. Grounded readiness supports clear engagement. Engagement is possible without pressure. Pressure stays absent. Return once more to the breath. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and steady. This rhythm remains as a quiet, familiar baseline. You can notice it or ignore it. It continues either way. If attention moves outward, regulation holds. Nothing collapses. Nothing accelerates. Remain here as this regulated state carries forward with this guidance. Clarity remains intact. The system stays calm, responsive, and ready. Notice how this regulated baseline continues without any effort to hold it. This pattern now feels familiar to the system. Familiarity reduces the need for repetition. Bring attention back to the breath briefly. Inhale arrives evenly and quietly. Exhale remains longer, steady, regulating. That longer exhale maintains balanced pressure through the body. Balanced pressure keeps reflexive urgency inactive. Inactivity there preserves calm clarity. Allow awareness to settle into the face again. Notice the eyes resting without scanning. No search is required. A non-searching gaze signals safety internally. Safety cues reduce background threat signaling. Threat signaling stays low. Shift attention gently to the jaw. Notice that it remains loose without effort. There is no return of clenching. With the jaw relaxed, the throat stays open. Airflow remains smooth and unforced. Smooth airflow reinforces regulation. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how the neck and shoulders remain coordinated. They move together without strain. Coordination reduces microtension. Reduced microtension lowers background effort. Lower effort preserves energy. preserved energy keeps thinking clear. Shift awareness into the upper chest again. Movement remains smooth and predictable. No sharp sensations appear. Predictability reassures internal timing. Reassurance stabilizes heart rhythm further. Stability remains flexible. Bring attention back to the breath. Inhale arrives without pull. Exhale extends, maintaining calm signaling. Allow awareness to move into the upper back. Notice the broad contact and support there. Support remains consistent. Consistent support prevents bracing from returning. Without bracing, anticipation does not form. Anticipation stays inactive. Notice how thoughts now appear as brief signals only. They do not chain together. They do not accelerate. Acceleration requires bodily urgency. Urgency has no base right now. So acceleration does not occur. Return to the breath again. Inhale steady and quiet. Exhale longer, smooth, regulating. This pattern continues reinforcing itself. Reliability reduces the need to check in. Checking fades naturally. Shift awareness into the belly. It remains neutral and responsive. No inward pull appears. Neutral tone supports efficient diaphragm movement. Efficient movement keeps breathing comfortable and balanced. Comfort prevents breath urgency. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale even. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how the lower back stays broad and supported. There is no arching or collapse. Support remains even. Even support reduces compensatory effort in the hips. Reduced effort lowers fatigue signals. Fatigue no longer feeds stress. Bring attention into the hips now. Notice the weight resting there. The body trusts this support. Trust reduces background vigilance. Vigilance is no longer necessary. The system stays calm and ready. Return to the breath again. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and steady. Allow awareness to move into the thighs and knees. Notice their position without adjusting. No preparation appears. Without preparation, urgency cannot form. Formation requires readiness. Readiness is not present. Notice how the feet remain grounded. Contact feels clear and stable. Grounding feeds upward support. Upward support keeps the torso relaxed and upright. Upright presence remains easy. Ease preserves clarity. Return once more to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, regulating. This rhythm now runs quietly in the background. You do not need to follow it closely. It holds on its own. If attention shifts to something external, notice that nothing changes. Regulation remains. Clarity remains. Remain here as this state carries forward whenever this guidance is present. Nothing is fading. Nothing is building. Notice how nothing has shifted away from stability as time passes. There is no signal of decline. The system remains exactly as it is. Bring attention back to the breath for a moment. Inhale arrives even and quiet. Exhale stays longer, unchanged, regulating. That extended exhale continues balancing internal pressure signals. Balanced signals keep urgency inactive. Inactive urgency cannot restart. Allow awareness to rest in the face again. Notice the absence of effort there. Nothing is being held in place. An unheld face reflects an unthreatened system. Threat detection remains minimal. Minimal detection preserves calm clarity. Shift attention gently to the eyes. They remain open without scanning. No searching behavior appears. Without searching, the mind does not project forward. Projection requires urgency. Urgency is absent. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, smooth, unchanged. Notice how the neck remains supported. There is no tightening along the sides or back. Support remains even. Even support prevents compensatory alert signals. Without those signals, the system stays quiet. Quiet remains active and clear. Allow awareness to move into the shoulders. They rest without lifting or pulling forward. Weight is carried downward. Downward weight distribution reduces internal load. Reduced load prevents stress accumulation. Accumulation does not occur. Bring attention back to the breath again. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains longer, maintaining balance. Notice the upper chest remains smooth in motion. No catching. No sharp changes. Smooth motion reassures the system at a deep level is less than hash shown. 5 hash is greater than. Reassurance stabilizes heart rhythm further. Stability continues without effort. Shift awareness into the upper back. Notice the broad surface area there. Support remains consistent. Consistency prevents readiness from forming. Readiness would signal threat. Threat is not present. Return again to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how thinking remains slow and deliberate. There is no rush between thoughts. Space remains between them. Space prevents chaining. Chaining is what fuels loops. Loops do not form. Allow awareness to move into the belly. It remains neutral and responsive. No tightening appears. Neutral tone allows breathing to remain comfortable and easy. Comfort keeps internal balance steady. Balance sustains calm clarity. Return to the breath once more. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. Notice how the lower back stays wide and supported. There is no collapse. There is no arching. Balanced support reduces fatigue signals further. Reduced fatigue prevents stress rebound. Rebound does not occur. Shift attention into the hips. Weight rests there comfortably. Support feels reliable. Reliable support reduces vigilance. Vigilance requires uncertainty. Uncertainty is not present. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer is less than #0. 1 is greater than unchanged. Allow awareness to move into the thighs. They remain relaxed and ready. No tension forms. Relaxed readiness supports clear engagement. Engagement no longer feels urgent. Urgency remains absent. Notice the knees and lower legs. They stay still without stiffness. Position remains comfortable. Comfort signals safety upward through the system. Safety remains the dominant signal. Dominance prevents stress activation. Bring attention to the feet again. Contact feels clear and dependable. Grounding remains steady. Steady grounding supports upright presence. Upright presence supports clear perception. Perception remains accurate and calm. Return to the breath once more. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. This rhythm now runs entirely on its own. You do not need to follow it. It continues regardless. If attention shifts outward, nothing changes internally. Regulation holds. Clarity holds. Remain here as this stable state continues whenever this guidance is present. Nothing is ending. Nothing is beginning. Notice how this state has not thinned or weakened with time. It remains fully present. Nothing has faded. Bring attention back to the breath briefly. Inhale arrives evenly, without pull. Exhale remains longer, steady, regulating. That extended exhale continues holding internal pressure within range. Pressure staying within range prevents urgency from reforming. Reforming does not occur. Allow awareness to rest in the face again. Notice how the muscles remain neutral. No tightening returns. A neutral face keeps threat, signaling low. Low signaling preserves calm clarity. Clarity remains sharp and usable. Shift attention to the eyes. They remain open without scanning or narrowing. No evaluation is happening. Without evaluation, the mind does not project outcomes. Projection requires urgency. Urgency is absent. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how the neck stays balanced and supported. No micro adjustments appear. Support remains consistent. Consistent support prevents alert reflexes. Without those reflexes, the system stays quiet. Quiet remains active and controlled. Allow awareness to move into the shoulders. They remain settled and heavy. Weight continues downward. Downward weight reduces internal load. Reduced load prevents buildup. Buildup does not happen. Bring attention back to the breath again. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains longer, smoothing internal rhythm. Notice the chest remains open without expansion effort. Movement stays smooth and contained. No sharp sensations form. Smooth movement reassures the system at a deep level. Reassurance keeps heart rhythm adaptable. Adaptability prevents spikes. Shift awareness into the upper back. It remains broad and supported. No readiness appears. Readiness would signal threat. Threat is not present. So readiness stays inactive. Return again to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how thoughts now appear one at a time. They do not overlap. They do not rush. This spacing prevents mental acceleration. Acceleration requires bodily urgency. Urgency is still absent. Allow awareness to move into the belly. It remains neutral and responsive. No gripping or pulling appears. Neutral tone supports steady diaphragm movement. Steady movement keeps everything feeling balanced and clear. Clarity remains stable. Return to the breath once more. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. Notice how the lower back stays wide and supported. No collapse. No bracing. Balanced support prevents fatigue signals. Without fatigue signals, stress cannot rebound. Rebound remains inactive. Shift awareness into the hips. Weight rests there reliably. The body trusts this support. Trust reduces vigilance. Vigilance requires uncertainty. Uncertainty is not present. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Allow awareness to move into the thighs. They remain relaxed and available. No preparation forms. Without preparation, urgency cannot reappear. There is no signal to act. Action pressure stays absent. Notice the knees and lower legs. Position remains comfortable and still. No adjustment is needed. Comfort sends consistent safety signals upward. Safety remains dominant. Dominance prevents escalation. Bring attention to the feet again. Contact feels solid and dependable. Grounding remains clear. Clear grounding supports upright presence. Upright presence supports clear perception. Perception remains calm and accurate. Return to the breath once more. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. This rhythm continues without attention. You do not need to monitor it. It holds on its own. If attention shifts outward, nothing changes internally. Regulation remains stable. Clarity remains available. Remain here as this state continues whenever this guidance is present. Nothing is concluding. Nothing needs to change. Notice how this regulated state remains available without effort. Nothing signals an ending. The system stays exactly as it is. Bring attention back to the breath one final time. Inhale arrives evenly and quietly. Exhale remains longer, steady, regulating. That longer exhale continues stabilizing internal pressure signals. Stabilized pressure prevents urgency from returning. Return does not occur. Allow awareness to rest in the face again. Notice how the muscles remain neutral and unguarded. Nothing tightens as attention rests there. A neutral face maintains low threat detection. Low detection keeps the nervous system quiet. Quiet remains clear and alert. Shift attention to the eyes. They remain open without scanning or narrowing. There is no evaluation forming. Without evaluation, future projection does not start. Projection requires urgency. Urgency is inactive. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how the neck remains balanced and supported. No micro adjustments appear. Support stays consistent. Consistent support prevents reflexive alert responses. Without those responses, stability holds. Holding requires no effort. Allow awareness to move into the shoulders. They remain settled and carried downward. No lifting returns. Downward weight distribution keeps internal load low. Low load prevents stress accumulation. Accumulation does not happen. Bring attention back to the breath again. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains longer, maintaining balance. Notice the chest remains smooth in motion. No sharp sensations form. Movement stays predictable. Predictable movement reassures the system at a deep level. Reassurance keeps heart rhythm adaptable. Adaptability prevents sudden shifts. Shift awareness into the upper back. It remains broad and supported. No readiness appears. Readiness would signal threat. Threat is not present, so readiness stays inactive. Return again to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Notice how thoughts now arrive as single, complete units. They do not overlap. They do not rush forward. This spacing prevents cognitive urgency. Urgency requires bodily pressure. That pressure is absent. Allow awareness to move into the belly. It remains neutral and responsive. No gripping appears. Neutral tone supports steady diaphragm movement. Steady movement keeps everything feeling balanced and clear. Clarity remains present. Return to the breath once more. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. Notice how the lower back stays wide and supported. No collapse. No bracing. Balance support prevents fatigue signals. Without fatigue signals, stress cannot rebound. Rebound remains inactive. Shift awareness into the hips. Weight rests there reliably. The body trusts this support. Trust reduces vigilance. Vigilance requires uncertainty. Uncertainty is not present. Return briefly to the breath. Inhale steady. Exhale longer, unchanged. Allow awareness to move into the thighs. They remain relaxed and available. No preparation forms. Without preparation, urgency cannot reappear. There is no pressure to act. Action remains optional. Notice the knees and lower legs. Position remains comfortable and still. No adjustment is required. Comfort sends steady safety signals upward. Safety remains the dominant state. Dominance prevents escalation. Bring attention to the feet again. Contact feels solid and dependable. Grounding remains clear. Clear grounding supports upright presence. Upright presence supports clear perception. Perception remains calm and accurate. Return to the breath one final time. Inhale arrives evenly. Exhale remains slow and regulating. This rhythm now operates entirely in the background. You do not need to monitor it. It continues on its own. If attention moves back into daily activity, notice nothing drops away when this guidance is present. Regulation remains available. Clarity remains intact. This state does not end when attention shifts elsewhere. Nothing signals completion. The system remains stable and responsive.